In India, turning train platforms into schools. In Thailand, the battle against child prostitution. And in Egypt, one mother refuses to give up on forgotten children. The power of knowledge, next on The New Heroes. Major funding for The New Heroes was provided by the Skoll Foundation, additional funding provided by Calvert.
Calvert, investments that make a difference.
Listen. Imagine how life will be.
What is it that makes a person a hero? Is it the risk they take? Or the lives they change? There are people in the world today who are offering hope instead of despair. They are the new heroes. Hello, I'm Robert Redford. Learning is a treasure which follows its owners everywhere. Education certainly is the key to advancement and the strongest hammer for breaking the chains of poverty. Yet, for many of the world's poor, education is still unattainable. Those without it are destined to lives of silent desperation. The nation of India is home to nearly 500 million children, many of whom live in extreme poverty. The Indian government has simply not been able to find a way to educate children who must spend their days begging, stealing, and selling their bodies to survive. But one woman, a teacher, decided that if the children couldn't come to school, she'd bring the school to them. Her name is Inderjit Khurana, and she is the guardian angel of the children of the railway stations. "300 miles south of Calcutta lies the Indian city of Bhubaneswar. Every day, the trains that are the lifeblood of the city bring more desperately poor families from the countryside. Many of them simply settle next to the station in the newest and poorest of India's slums. This is Rama. No one, not even her mother, knows how old Rama is. But she is likely 8 or 9. Rama lives with her mother and sister in the slum next to the train station. Her sister, who is 16, already has a child of her own. For kids like Rama, the most important question is, where will the next meal come from? By the time they are 10, most are tired of wondering, and so they enter the netherworld of prostitution and drugs that thrives around the train station. Here, gangsters offer the public every vice imaginable, with child prostitution the cheapest because of the constant new supply of young children. It is the kind of tragedy that causes most of us to turn away in despair. But one woman has decided to stand and fight.
I noticed over a period of time that there were children on the station, lots and lots of them. And I just wondered what I could do to help these children. They were only 10 and 11 years old. These were kids who were surviving on their own, making all decisions, all adult decisions, and hardly leading a child's life. I wanted somehow to alter this, if I could, give them back a childhood and hold out hope for the future.
For 20 years, 5-foot-tall Inderjit Khurana has been a towering presence in the slums of Bhubaneswar. Though the Indian government has decided that educating the nation's poorest citizens is an impossible task, Inderjit has dedicated her life to doing the impossible. This is one of 12 trained platform schools created by Inderjit to serve the slums of Bhubaneswar.
No child in the slums, living in the slums or in the streets, will ever go to a school. So my idea is to just take the school to the child.
Almost all of these kids are the first in their family to ever go to school. In the beginning, Inderjit won the children's trust by feeding and bathing them and making them feel they mattered.
We started out on 7th of April 1985 with 11 children, half of them suspecting us of what our intentions were. They said that people who dressed like me never reached out or touched any children like them. And the first day ended in sheer joy, in sheer unadulterated joy, just from a bath. And they had this bath, scrubbed their feet, washed their hair, and then they were like little puppies shaking off their hair because we didn't have so many towels. From then onwards began a steady demand for an everyday school.
Inderjit believes that education is the only way to get these children away from the station. But the Indian government refuses to help her, and she has to rely on charitable donations for the $12,000 a year that funds all 12 schools. With so little money, she can only afford to pay teachers like Sandia 80 cents a day. For that, Sandia and the other teachers fight a daily battle for the lives of their students. Before they are old enough to be prostitutes, many of the kids on the platform live in a kind of neverland as members of child-run gangs. The gangs work the trains, making money any way they can. With no other way to eat, the girls pretend to be boys so they can be in the gang too.
It was a surprise for us to discover that there were girls in the gang. Because till they reach puberty, the girls dress up as boys. That's the only way they can survive. Sometimes even their gang doesn't know that it's a girl.
It is in this narrow window before they become sexually active that Inderjit has her best chance to reach the children. The teachers focus above all on making learning fun so that the kids will come often enough to learn that there is life beyond the platform. But every day the clock is ticking, because the more children hang around the station, the more chance that even the most promising ones will be lost.
For the kids who have hope and don't make it, makes me very sad. Like the child who just died at the station early last year. He was one of our very bright kids. And we lost him when he was playing at the station. He slipped into the space between the train and the platform. And his shirt got hooked onto one of the cars. And he just got dragged for 100 yards before he was thrown across the railway line, and then the wheels of the train went over him, just cut him into two. What gives me the strength to go is to avoid that accident, to see how we can take him away from the station before he reaches 14. For boys, we say that we must reach them by 14, otherwise we've lost them. And for girls, we have to reach them by 10. If we don't reach a girl, we just lose her to prostitution. Or we lose her to suicide. Because when everything else fails her, then it's suicide that she will attempt.
Even if she doesn't know her age, Inderjit knows Rama is at this critical point.
I've lost many girls like Rama in my program because the girls are the worst sufferers. Nobody in society is really worried about the girls or what they're going to land up to be eventually. They don't see a future for them.
For the moment, Rama's mother is able to earn a meager living by sewing discarded rags into dresses and selling them. But she is suffering from an advanced case of tuberculosis and will almost certainly not be able to support herself or her daughter much longer. By the time she is 10 or 11, Rama will be under tremendous pressure to become a prostitute.
It's usually rape, the first time. The platform is the only place where she can sleep. But there, she gets accosted by the gangsters. Even if she has a mother on the station, the mother has to give in to the gangsters if they should want the girl.
Each week, the train platform school in Bhubaneswar stages a puppet show. Amid the entertainment, there is always a message. Sometimes it's about leprosy or tuberculosis, but most often it is about sexually transmitted diseases.
When we realized that the children were having very early sexual experiences and they were all very high risk, we started a program on HIV/AIDS awareness for the children. They needed to be warned before they die from this disease.
But for Inderjit Khurana, talk alone is never enough. To give her kids the best possible chance of escaping the world of prostitution and AIDS that surrounds the station, she recently expanded her program to include a vocational school.
For those children who are late starters, I take them into vocational training. And what we've actually done is to give them a base to start on, and thereafter they are self-promoting. We don't have to do it for them anymore. And some of my kids have done brilliantly.
Teenagers who graduate from Inderjit Sewing School receive their own machine as a graduation present. It is nothing less than the chance at a life for girls whom prostitution was once the only option.
It's exhilarating to just see the children. It's such sheer pleasure to see a child you picked up from the railway tracks grow into a chauffeur or a cook in a five-star hotel or a chauffeur for a very big company. Girls marry well. And sometimes I think it makes you feel like God because, you know, they were somewhere down below and you helped to raise them up to this level.
One girl whose life was transformed by the train platform school was Yashuda.
She's finished her high school, and while she was doing her high school, we realized that she loved to play the flute. She's now performing on television and going to a music college. She's broken this taboo of girls not going to school.
Inderjit dreams that one day there will be a train platform school on every train platform in India. But the fact is, she has so little money that the schools she now has have to look elsewhere than her bank account for survival.
Well, I've always said, and I do believe, that I have divine intervention. I've had very little money, and at times I've been despairing. And out of the blue, the postman will bring me a check. Out of the blue, somebody would drive up to my office and say, I want to give something to the school. I've had moments like that. And I think it's just divine intervention. I think when you're doing good, then God finds a way to help you.
Inderjit's faith has given her the inspiration to create not only the train platform schools and the vocational school, but 5 schools based in the slums and a new helpline for battered women. It may seem like a lot, but to Inderjit Khurana, it is still not enough. On January 17, 2004, after the weekly Saturday bath, a doctor who volunteers at the school discovered that Rama has Hansen's disease, leprosy. Many lepers in India are ejected from their homes and communities and left to rot away in misery. But Inderjit has managed to find a donor to pay for the drugs Rama needs to be cured. Without the train platform school, Rama's life would be over even sooner than the children who will turn to prostitution and suicide. With it, Rama and the others have hope. latest news from Inderjit is that Rama also has begun dressing as a boy to ride the trains. The teachers find her each week, giving her the medicine she needs to control her leprosy. It's her only hope. Children of poverty aren't the only ones left behind. In large parts of the world, children with special needs, such as Down syndrome, are shunned as pariahs. They are shut away in their families' homes, a shameful, unspoken problem. Many are denied access to school. In Egypt, one woman refused to accept this fate for her son. Her battle has turned into a nationwide campaign. Through her efforts, the problems of these forgotten children have at last been brought out of the darkness and into the light.
In Cairo, where most of the Egyptian population lives, the public school system is bursting at the seams. In some schools, there can be as many as 60 or 70 students in a single classroom. It's no wonder that parents of children with special needs have few options to educate their kids. Saif and Omar are twin 13-year-old boys. Saif is autistic. Would you put Saif today, right now, in a public school?
No way. No way, because the number of students, it's not accepted. The students, it's a lot. Every class, it's have something like
40 students per class.
And it's very difficult for the teacher to learn him, and the students also itself not accept this guy. Yeah.
And Saif's parents had the same problems trying to place him in a private school.
Objective إن هو كل المدارس عايزة تاخد أحسن طلبة. إحنا mainly كنا متجهين إن إحنا بندخله في البرايفت سكول. فكانت مشكلتنا حتى في البرايفت سكول إن هم مش قابلينه على أساس إن هو عنده مشكلة، فهو مش هيبقى شاطر، فهو هيبقى عندهم مشكلة في تعليمه، فهم هيبذلوا مجهود، فكانوا بيرفضوه. ما بيقبلوش الحالات الخاصة على أساس إن هي مش هتبقى من الأوائل أو هتبقى مش شاطرين أو هتبقى في سهولة في تعليم، محتاجة مجهود.
1 2 3 4 5 6 7.
Very good girl. I'm so proud of you. I'm very proud of you. I know you can make it. You can always make it, Jamila.
Not only is there a placement problem in public and private schools, Egyptian culture has not easily accepted children with special needs.
People don't accept them that easily to be mainstreamed or to be, like they always feel pity for them. And even some parents, they used to take their kids away from Jamila as if she has a contagious disease or something.
Okay.
Twinkle, twinkle, where a star, how I wonder what you are. Up above was so high, like a diamond in the sky.
I went to some of the centers, governmental centers. They're doing fine, but not on a high standard. Kids are not mainstream. They still have the same idea of these kids has to be in one place, a special place.
Even at the highest levels of government, officials will candidly admit that this segment of the population has been virtually ignored. Moshira Hattab is responsible for the welfare of Egypt's children. She started her career as a member of a delegation to the United Nations.
And when I saw people with disabilities in the street, I said, my goodness, in Egypt we are so lucky we don't have any people with disabilities. And I had to discover that we had so many people with disabilities but locked in because some of the families were ashamed to to admit their presence.
Do you believe that a child with special needs is properly included in the public school system?
Not yet, no.
It was into this culture that Dina Abdel Wahab gave birth to a child with Down syndrome. At age 33, Dina is a modern woman by any society's standards. Smart, ambitious, and on the run. Her husband, Hisham, is equally driven. As a sales manager for an information technology company, he spends much of his time traveling throughout the Middle East. From the moment of the birth of their son, Ali, both parents immediately recognized the problems which lay ahead.
First of all, I couldn't believe it, and I was like seriously in denial because I truly believed 100% that there must have been a mistake.
So what if it's real? So what's going to happen tomorrow? How are we going to do it? How are we going to be together as a family? Will I be able to support that and be with him and be there for him?
Our joint resolution was that, yes, we'll have to handle it.
I think that there is a lot of ignorance and there is a lack of knowledge of how to deal with a child with Down syndrome or what to expect from this child.
Children in principle.
Especially children in principle, yeah. But because Down syndrome has features that immediately tell you that they are a little bit different. So people do not know how to react.
Dina refused to accept the way things were. She knew she couldn't change her son, so she had to find a way for him to fit in.
So that's when I started looking around for a preschool. It was not an easy task. I went around, a lot of people did not understand what I was talking about. Down syndrome, why do you want to send him here? Maybe you should send him to an institution.
It was very frustrating, and I started considering whether should we send him to a special school, because that would be the only alternative, or I don't know, reallocate totally to a different country if need be.
Hello. Good morning. Hi, good morning.
With no business experience and no background in childhood education, Dina decided she had to start her own preschool to mainstream kids with special needs and to set an example.
This is the junior and the senior class. They're probably having their circle time now. They finished their breakfast, and this is how they start the day. They have breakfast, and then they start their morning circle time, and then they get divided into the different centers of the class. This is our junior and senior class for the French section. We have it's a learning center approach. We have the writing center, we have the pretend center, there is a creative center, the reading corner, and the puzzles area. I had a lot of determination, and I knew my limitation, which I think was very important. I knew that I didn't have enough information about education at that time. I was never an educator. I had little information about how to run a business in Egypt. So what I decided at that time that I would go and subcontract people that had the knowledge. So I got the curriculum from abroad. I got teacher trainers to train the teachers. It was actually getting who knew how to do it best together and forming a team of people who had the knowledge.
Yes, that's the stage. My name is Sally Camel. I'm a business development specialist working with Dina. When she talked to me about the job, she told me business development specialist. What? How come there's a business development specialist in a nursery? So I was very impressed. I never thought there would be such a title in a nursery.
It was not only for Ali, it was the idea of having a place where a child is looked at from every angle. I wanted a place that would treat every child as an individual, that would help him to achieve his maximum potential.
Count, Yasin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
During Ali's short lifetime, just 7 years, change has come to Egypt. Dina's baby academy is now a success story in Cairo. Ali has graduated and moved on to another school, and the message has gotten through to the government.
If you treat them as right holders, then you are obliged to give them quality education, give them quality service, health service, and integrate them in the society. The most important thing is the integration. You don't rehabilitate them while they are in institutions. No, you rehabilitate them and integrate them in the society because they have to feel that they are part of the society.
المستشفيات والمراكز الصحية، مدارس التربية الفكرية، الجمعيات الأهلية، النوادي ومراكز الشباب على مدار 24 ساعة.
Ambassador Hattab's ministry has produced educational videotapes for parents of disabled children. Recently opened up a toll-free hotline serviced by trained doctors. And for anyone with a computer, there is now a website as well. In the first 4 months of operation, the hotline received more than 160,000 calls from parents of children requiring special needs. And a man who calls himself a reformer is now in charge of education for Egypt's ruling party. And he is calling for change.
It is the experience all over the world when an educational institution includes kids with special needs that the general standard of the education system becomes better, even for those who has no special needs. The understanding of the teacher, the capacity of tolerance and within the other children. There are so many other spill out positive things on the general education within the education system. The best way is to include them within the general population of kids in different classrooms, not to seclude them or take them into a special school or a special classroom.
Do you think that's possible?
Yes, it is possible. It happens in other countries. It can happen here. It needs the dedication, understanding, and working hard for it.
As for Dina, she's moving forward, as always.
This is our first branch for the Baby Academy. We've been renovating it for 4 months now, and I'm quite excited about it because we're expanding, we're getting bigger. We want to open 3 more branches in Cairo, and then I would want to move, to develop it into a franchise and move with it into the Middle East area. Why do I want a franchise? Mainly because I believe that I want to spread my services around. I really want to provide the children in all the area with the same opportunities that are provided here. I believe that it's the role of the entrepreneur to go and find new ideas and solve society's problems and take the risk. It is easier for me as an entrepreneur to take the risk and to do something that I really believe in as an idea than for a government to do that on a mass scale.
Dina's success and her social entrepreneurship all comes back to a little boy named Ali and the dreams both parents have for him.
Ali has started engaging swimming for some time now, and he takes like 2 to 3 times a week special training in swimming. We're hoping that he can join sometime the Special Olympics. And he's doing very well in swimming so far, and we have great aspirations for him.
Well, I'm simpler than that. I just want him to live independently, to be able to live included in the society, to be able to go everywhere he wants, to be able to live on his own if I'm not around, to be able to go in the community, buy things, maybe drive a car at one point in time, have his own house, just be himself, do whatever pleases him.
Dina Abdel Wahab has now opened several of her schools throughout Egypt. She hopes one day to franchise her program and mainstream special needs children throughout the Middle East. Forgotten children, shunned children, children sold into slavery, lacking the hope of education. It is the children of the world who suffer most. In Thailand, it's estimated that 25% of the national economy is based on child prostitution. Tourists, pedophiles, flock to Thailand on sex junkets and leave a third of all girls under the age of 15 in the sex industry infected with HIV. It is an industry supported by an evil triad of criminals, corrupt officials, and most horribly, parents. One man works tirelessly, at great personal risk, to save children from this dark netherworld of exploitation. With enormous sums of money at stake, pimps, criminals, and corrupt officials harass him constantly. His life and school are threatened on a daily basis. So this is the first ever look into the dangerous world of a man the children know simply as Sompop.
Young girls like these, who work in the massage parlors, tea houses, and strip clubs of Bangkok, are the foundation of Thailand's hugely profitable sex industry. But because of the money it generates, the official government position is that prostitution is illegal and therefore doesn't exist. For many of these girls, their journey begins here. This is Mae Sai, a town on Thailand's northernmost border with Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. This bridge between Myanmar and Thailand is used daily to traffic two main commodities: drugs and young girls. Girls and boys from China, Myanmar, and Thailand are sold to local pimps for as little as $100. These pimps take the children to the back rooms of Mae Sai's hotels and apartment buildings. Here they are rented to men who travel to this border town from all over the world to spend a month with a virgin. After this initiation, the children are farmed out to brothels all over Southeast Asia. Sompop Jantraka has spent the last 15 years trying to stop this problem.
Most parents looking for opportunity to send kids to do something in the town. That's why there are good people and bad people coming into the area for the recruitment. That's why it's very at risk of children in this area that we have to focus very deep and very wide.
Refugees from Myanmar cross the border to escape the repressive military regime in their country. These illegal refugees squat in makeshift houses and villages, like this one, all around Mae Sai.
The village is called Patek village. Of course, they have lots of problems. They have problems of education and they have problems of status. They are minority, they don't have any ID cards, and they have never been into school.
Few villages in the region have contributed as many girls to the sex industry as this one. 70% of Patak village's families have sold at least one daughter.
I have to be honest too, how I feel about those parents who decide to sell their children. I could not accept that either, because I am from the poor family too, but my parents love me. They don't push me away. We must be together, even we are poor. I am from that kind of background. I went into the village and I tried to learn about this story, why children been sold into the prostitution.
Sayun Kampeng and his wife Dee illegally crossed into Thailand with the hope of a better life for themselves and their 3 children. They have 2 daughters. In is 11 years old, and Noon is 9. In a village like this one, the chance of Sayun holding on to his daughters is very small. He has no money and can't work legally in Thailand. The pressure to sell the girls will increase with each day.
มีวัดกูกับตำรวจจับผิดกฎหมายดบหนีเขาเมืองเนาะเป็นว่าหนังเรื่องวัดเรื่องไว้ก็อยู่กับเจ้ากาย
เปิดว่ามีวัดอีกค่ะว่ากูใครไปที่ไหนนี่อยู่กับวันอยู่กับวันเปิดมาเย้าก็เขาก็เมียไปคันเขาไปยายก็เขาก็ถามนี่ก็เอาคำเดียวเอาขึ้นรถไป
บ้านมีเมืองมีอยู่เนาะเดี๋ยวมันมีลูก3 คนเนี่ยหนังสือก็ไม่ได้เห็นขึ้นในหลวงขึ้นที่มาเอาผมไปเป็นทหารนี่มีไพ่ดูแลลูกอ่ะหนีมาอีก
When you visit into the village, you will see two sides, poor and rich. And for those people who have big house, they are also the same groups that cross border, but they have lots of money. The money coming from their children, because parents cannot go to work, they don't have ID cards. But for the young girls, they can go to work illegally, of course.
นี่ก็ผู้น้องเขาเนาะตอนเมื่อมาอยู่ก็เป็นเฮ็ดช่างกินทำช่างกินกับหมู่
เป็นเฮ็ดช่างในหลายเฮ็ดหวานงามของหูหนูเปิ้น เปิ้นว่ามีเฮ็ดติๆเฮาว่ามีช่างเฮ็ดก็อยู่นี่อีไปอะค่ะเพิ่นก็ติดปิ่นน่ะเนาะเสามันบ่พูดหมดอะ
The girls try to help their family as much as they can, but it's not enough.
So most of the girls in the village, we will see only just when they are 7, 8, 9. And after that, they are all gone. This is my real experience. I could not protect all of them. I saw their face just when they are that age. And after that, I would not see them again. And later, when I try to find out where they have been, they said they went to Bangkok, they went to Pattaya, they went to Chiang Mai. Hundreds of them just, gone from the village. Girls who don't have education, girls who don't have ID cards, and they have to go with the illegally way, they will not be free. They will not be good chance. They will not be good life for them to develop themselves.
In 1989, Sompop started the Daughters Education Program, or DEP. DEP is made up of 8 different social programs that include an elementary school, a secondary school, a job training program, and a halfway house. Sompop's mission is to offer every child an education while opening their eyes to possibilities beyond the sex trade.
I have to start when they are very young. I have to reach them when they are 7 years old, 8 years old, not after they are 14 or 15. Almost too late for me to protect anything.
When Sompop first started his program, he says he received daily threats on his life.
They said that if you want to start a project, protections of child prostitution, you should go to another city or another town. This time we have not got any problems.
He has been forced to move his family 5 different times.
Sometimes I feel that I cannot protect myself because I could see that the people who involved in sex trade become even stronger. It's just part of my life to have something dangerous, something conflicts.
Noon and In are now attending Sompop School with free tuition. If they remain in the program, they can go on to higher education and the possibility of legitimate jobs that could support their family.
At the center, we build up the girls' dignity and self-confidence. Before, they may not believe that girl is important. girls can become equal as boys. But after passing the process of building up capacity for the young girl, each girl, they recognize themselves and they have more choice. They believe they can become teacher, they can become doctor, nurse, they can become lawyer, instead of just become a singer in a bar and dance without any clothes. This is not the only choice that girl can have.
ไม่เป็นไรเรานั่งด้วยกันไม่ได้ที่อื่นไม่ได้ทางนู้นก่อนนั่งกับพี่นี่ค่ะให้น้องเมย์ดึงเสื้อครูนี่เด็กๆเหล่านี้นะคะก็นึกถึงเมื่อก่อนค่ะเราเป็นเด็กนะคะเราเป็นเด็กก็อย่าเพิ่งเล่นนะคะเดี๋ยวก่อนให้เอาทุกคนเนาะอยากให้พ่อแม่ใช่ไหมคะอยากให้พ่อแม่นี่ดูแลใกล้ๆชิดค่ะเหมือนกับไปโรงเรียนก็อยากให้ครูดูแลอย่างเงี้ยเด็กนะคะถ้าไม่ได้รับการช่วยเหลือนะคะจากศูนย์ก็กลายเป็นปัญหาของสังคมมีการตกเขียวเหมือนกับว่ายังไม่โตเงี้ยแต่เอาตังค์มาให้ก่อนรอให้โตก่อนแล้วค่อยนำเด็กไปค้าประเวณีเงี้ยโดยวิธีหลายๆวิธีต่างๆหลายด้านหลายรูปแบบเนี่ยแล้วเขาจะเอาเด็กที่บ้านนะที่จบป .6 ใหม่ๆเงี้ยพวกหนูนี่จะเป็นเป้าเลยอะเขาจะเล็งนะว่าตัวโตแล้วนะอายุเท่าไหร่แล้วเนี่ยเขาจะติดต่อให้ไปทำงานที่กรุงเทพแล้วก็แต่ว่าหนูแม่บอกว่าถึงจะยากจนนะแต่ก็ไม่ขายลูกแม่พูดอย่างนี้เขาว่าไม่ได้ขายนะให้ไปทำงานแม่บอกว่าไม่ให้ไปหรอกแม่ว่ายังไงก็จะส่งลูกเรียนถึงไม่มีกินก็จะส่งเนี่ย
ไปจนก็ช่างมันเถอะหาเลี้ยงกันไปแบบนี้แต่ว่าห้ามไม่ให้ลูกไปหาเงินเพราะว่ามันไม่ดีอ่ะเรามีมือมีเท้าเนาะเขาก็หากินเลี้ยงกันไปอ่ะ
ส่วนมากเพื่อนนี่ตอนนี้เนี่ยนะเขาก็ไปอยู่กรุงเทพอยู่เมืองนอกอะไรหมดนะคะก็ทำงานทัฟฟิกิ้งไงส่วนมากทำงานทัฟฟิกิ้งก็ปัญหาความยากจนเนี่ยทำให้เขาต้องมาเป็นอย่างนั้นนี่เมื่อพ่อแม่เขาเลือกให้ไปด้วยอยากให้ลูกไปก็เขาเหมือนกับรักพ่อแม่ไงทดแทนบุญคุณเนี่ยเขาต้องไปถ้าพ่อแม่อยากให้ไป
They believe that if you have young girls in your family and you don't send her to work or don't use her to make money, you are stupid. Many parents believe that working in the brothels, hotel, karaoke, restaurant, or working in the factory, no different. Same. Well, of course, many parents have not seen the reality inside the room of the brothels, what's going on, what's happened to their young kids.
If a girl is lucky enough to escape brothel life, it's almost impossible for her to get back home. Often, pimps will steal the girl's legal documents, removing any proof of citizenship. Sompop and his wife have started a halfway house where girls can safely stay while they wait to be returned to their home countries.
The halfway house is a place that we provide safe shelter and the process of helping victims who has already been trafficked into Thailand from their own countries, Laos, Myanmar, China.
This Chinese girl was trafficked from China through Malaysia and has just arrived at the halfway house. One of the girls from the school translates her story for Sompop and his wife.
มาที่มาเลเซียนี่โดนหลอกมาแล้วก็เขาไม่รู้เรื่องอะไรวะค่ะแล้วบอกว่าไปทำงานที่มาเลเซียอย่างเนี้ยแล้วก็เขาก็มาแล้วก็เพื่อนเขานี่ไปไหนหมดไม่รู้แล้วเขาก็มาที่ประเทศไทยเลยวะค่ะ
爸爸妈妈我不是想哭
不是想哭，我想到我家里面的爸爸妈妈，我的眼泪就忍不住的流下来了。
เขาบอกว่า
แม่พ่อเขาไม่สบาย
ไม่ใช่ครับแม่เขาบอกว่าเขาไม่อยากร้องไห้ว่ะแต่เขาพูดคิดถึงแล้วก็น้ำตาไหลว่ะครับแม่
เข้าใจแต่ว่าเราสองคนนี่ก็เหมือนกับพ่อกับแม่ก็รักเขาเหมือนกับพ่อกับเหมือนกับเขาเป็นลูก
他说是爸爸妈妈爱这个两个是爱你像那个小孩子怎样他爱你怎样
อยากให้เขาเข้มแข็งอยากให้เขาสบายใจ
他说是他给你心好那个呢给你好过怎样不要哭
แล้วบอกว่าพ่อรู้ว่าลูกกำลังอยากจะกลับบ้านแล้วเราสองคนเนี่ย
กำลังติดต่อที่จะให้ลูกกลับบ้าน
แม่พยายามติดต่อให้ลูก
他说是你想回家
So we use our experience. We prepare documents which were taken by those pimps or those agents, and we prove back their status, that which area, which country they belong to. We contact with the embassy to try to get them back home. And we also contact to their parents that their children is protected here, and then meet with those kind of preparation to what we call repatriation. พ่อกับแม่จะต้องไปพูดกับเจ้าหน้าที่จีนรัฐบาลจีนแล้วก็เอาเอกสารของลูกเนี่ยไปทำให้เตรียมให้ลูกกลับบ้าน
DEP still does not receive any funding from the Thai government. Sompop continues to raise funds from international sources to keep his center going.
They have been working for almost 15 years. I could say maybe 2,000 cases we have protected. As much as we can work for the education. One case, one win. Two case, two win.
Sayun will continue to send his girls to DEP. He remains committed to keeping his family together, even if that means a life of poverty and uncertainty in Thailand.
การมีลูกยิงก็หาเงินเป็นเองก็ได้เรียนหนังสือนี่ผู้ดีก็คือก็ผู้ร้ายก็คือดีนั่นเนาะหนังสือที่ไปหาเงินอย่างนี้เมื่อ
Sompop knows that his efforts are just a tiny start against the enormous forces arrayed against him. But as Gandhi once said, eventually the efforts of goodness will always win. In this series, we brought you stories of hope and triumph in the face of despair. We've met people who, despite the odds, have taken on the world's greatest challenges with a new vision and commitment. They're the better angels of our nature. They're the new heroes of our time. And their stories are not over. To find out more, visit our website at thenewheroes@pbs.org. I'm Robert Redford. Thank you for joining us.
Meet the new heroes and find out more about how social entrepreneurs are changing the world. Visit us at pbs.org. The New Heroes series is available on a 2-part DVD set for $29.95 plus shipping and handling. The companion CD is also available for $14.99. To place an order, please call 1-800-440-2651. Major funding for the new heroes was provided by the Skoll Foundation, additional funding provided by Calvert.
Calvert, investments that make a difference. We are PBS.